guys, I am Chris Kaler.
And I'm Amber Foster Jane Cosplay, and today we are back as you guys with Madoka Magica, episode 6.
Last episode, Sayaka was a magical girl and she was basically going through why she decided to do it and trying to help Madoka deal with the guilt of not turning into a magical girl. You know, I think she was doing a good job at telling her friend that, I did it because I had a goal. You don't have a goal. You don't have to feel bad about not doing this. It's scary and she understands that. She has that laid back attitude that makes us wonder sometimes if, she takes this seriously, but then she kind of does understand that it's going to be dangerous. And she's motivated to do what's necessary. And we saw that because right away they were attacked by that new magical girl that showed up in town.
She's fucked up, guys.
She's willing to kill. She's in it for the rewards, for sure. And she fought Sayaka, and we thought it was, it was gonna be an easy win, but Sayaka had a lot of willpower. She kept getting back up, so that was pretty cool. But despite that, the power levels were completely different, so Madoka was thinking of changing, and then Homura was like, bitch, please.
No need to make a wish, I'm there.
Exactly. So we might have maybe a fight between the two. We'll see, but I'm excited to see more of their abilities and just see what happens next to the girls.
Alright.
So let's jump in this episode and see what they have in store for us. Don't forget to subscribe, guys, if you want to know when these episodes come out, and check out our Patreon for the full reactions.
Let's do this.
Hopefully we will explain.
And Donna doesn't know what happened.
No, because she was in the egg. Okay, that's messed up. First of all, Madoka, you chose the fucking wrong time to follow your mom's advice. This is not just a random, high school teenager fight.
Let's just say that she really did something really, really wrong right there.
It's for her own good, but at the same time she didn't understand, she didn't know. This was not gonna solve anything. She was gonna be so pissed. I don't think there's a way doing something like that. I get the advice, sort of, but I took it more as a giving your friend, a reason to win. Doing something admitting defeat, admitting that you lied about something, something small to make them feel like, oh, okay, I won the argument and we move on. This would have destroyed your friendship. So just saying that I'm not completely sold on the advice. But that aside, the rest was not too bad. Madoka really took this and applied it to a life or death situation that cannot be, this deserves an entirely new section of advices.
Mom, I almost killed my friend. I didn't know though, I swear, but I almost killed my friend.
And I mean, she would not have killed her so much as she would have doomed her to a life of nothing. She would still be alive in that egg.
Yeah, but her body is brain dead.
Yeah,
her body just dead.
Her body is brain dead. Even with the egg, it's just a shell. It's an object.
This is messed up.
But then
so messed up.
That feeds my theory that, magical girls can perhaps turn into witches if you corrupt the egg.
True.
They said it themselves. It's their soul. It's called a soul gem for a reason. Your soul is in there. When you use magic, you lose energy, and if you don't replenish it, he was really insisting on telling you, oh, you gotta find other what's it called? Grieve seeds. Yeah, you gotta find more grieve seeds because you gotta replenish that egg. I fear what happens if you don't have energy anymore.
It did say at the beginning though that technically magical girl and witches are kind of the same but in reverse.
He said witches are created from curses and magical girl created from wishes. So, but then the whole concept of a magical girl is so on the line. The people we choose.
Let's just say that Kyubey did not tell every little detail about that contract.
But that's the thing. But it's because Kyubey isn't human.
Yeah.
Kyubey doesn't understand. No matter what we think about him, he's not in a place where he can connect with the magical girls. He's doing what he has to do. It's his job. So whatever he wants in the long run, he doesn't care about what needs to be, the consequences. Basically, he doesn't care that magical girls are miserable. It's not about feelings. It's a simple contract. I give you a wish. You do this job.
True.
And when it comes to the soul and the stuff, it's practical. There's no emotions involved. That means, this scene for me just confirms that Kyubey lacks any emotion. He's not empathetic. He's not connecting. He's being nice, but he's basically just being polite, actually. Being polite doesn't mean being nice. It's just following protocol. He is a thing, not a human or an alive thing even, which means that, or maybe he's alive, but that makes him unable to see what it truly takes, the true implication of becoming a magical girl, and that makes it dangerous because he could promise you stuff without explaining you every little detail.
Do you remember the old good days when we said that Kyubey was evil or really suspicious?
Well, yeah.
But with what we just saw right there, Kyubey is not human. He doesn't understand the fact that us human are really attached to our own bodies and soul together, not in a egg, not a separate empty shell.
But it's like you transform them into things.
Do you think that maybe it's not the fact that he's maybe evilly suspicious, but just the fact that he's not human? He is something else?
I don't know, but and I'm not even sure he did it out of malice. Like he was like, oh boy, like it's almost like I didn't tell you because you always react like this. I don't understand. And maybe if they all react like this, there's an issue here.
But like,
oh, that was weird. Sorry.
No, sorry. But like you said, he sees it as a practical thing. Like for him, this is a completely different way of thinking.
And that sigh was just like, oh, you're complaining about this, like. What are you complaining about? It's even better. Like you won't, even if you hurt like crazy, if you get almost destroyed, we can bring you back. Like that's great. It's all about practicality, and there are no emotions involved. But though, despite that, he understood that telling them the truth right away was a sure way, probably, of not convincing them to become magical girls.
Which is what's the wrong part of it.
But that turns into manipulation, and in this case,
it's kind of good at it.
But manipulating someone means you get something after. You don't manipulate someone for nothing. Like you gotta have a goal behind it. So that brings me back to my question I had, many episodes ago. In the long run, there is something he wants. There's a reason why he insists on Madoka becoming a magical girl. There's a reason. Like now we know he kind of eats the grief seeds.
Yeah.
So what happens there? Like the thing with Kyubey that I don't understand, and I hope we get to see that later. It's with a being like this who seems to have no emotion, who seems to be detached and focused on practicality. What goal is there for him?
What's his wish?
Yeah, maybe it's just do anything possible to do your job. And that includes, it's kind of like a robot. You're telling me to do anything, possible to get the job done, then I will manipulate those girls into becoming magical girls because I need magical girls. If it's a personal thing, then that means he does have emotions. He does feel stuff, just very self-centered. And he's getting something off of this. But I don't get that vibe. I get the vibe that he truly wants them to turn. I just don't think he himself gets something out of it. And this episode making him sound like, no empathy, no emotions whatsoever. He's a thing. That makes me think that, there's no goal for him in there. It's just he's doing his job, and his job is bad. So his reason for being would be bad. It's all like it's basically a ladder of stuff that we notice. Yeah. And, there are flags at the beginning, red flags. And we wonder, we kind of knew about he's bad thing. He's a bad thing.
It's bad news.
So we always looked out for those signs. But then the flags are becoming bigger and bigger and bigger. And the flags lead to, a train of thought that makes it even worse. So it's not just, there are many of them around. Like, I don't think there are many of them around, and that one turned out to be evil or something. Like, maybe his soul...
To be the baguette egg of the bunch.
Yeah, so it's not so much in his case, it's not nurture so much as it's nature. You know, maybe he was just created bad. You know, what he wants to do with like his, and I say bad, but when I say that, I mean, you know, in his mind, it doesn't even register as bad. It's so far, what I see from him is, I have to do this job. I have to get them to do this job, so I will do anything necessary to get them to do this job. The only question I need to be answered now is, why? What's the end game?
I think we're gonna know at the end of the show, though.
And that would make it even more interesting if magical girls turn out to be witches.
I think they are.
Because, like, if the goal of the job...
That make too much sense for me.
So then there is definitely something at the end.
Just like the fact that it does make too much sense that Omura is coming from the future. She knows stuff that didn't happen yet.
Oh, for sure.
She can basically teleport, and we don't see her coming.
And she knows about... She's never met Kyubey, but she has to have met Kyubey because she has the powers.
And she knows people that
he knows about her.
She knows people that they never met before.
It sounds like he's heard of something. Like, he knows about her, but at the same time, he doesn't know about her. Her power, you know, makes too much sense. She knows about the empty shell thing. Everything she's told about the future, the consequences that she talks about, she knows too much. For sure, she's from the future.
So, if in that case, do you think maybe Kyubey's reasons are more just simple than that? Maybe he just wants to survive.
Perhaps,
but to survive, you need to have great seeds. To have great seeds, you need to have witches. To have witches, you need magical girl.
Perhaps. Yeah, that would be a very basic instinct.
Basic instincts, things to do, yeah.
But then my other question then would be, when did that start? How is he born? Like, what created him?
That's saying the question, who come first? The chicken or the chicken?
The chicken or the egg.
Yeah.
Which is funny because there are eggs in it. Anyway, but I mean, like, this whole discussion is just turning out to be, you know, we're even more convinced that Kyubey is bad news.
Yeah.
It's just, the perspective is changing a little bit. Like, instead of an evil being and stuff, I see more as a detached entity that's just doing what it has to do. Which, you know, I mean, I'm still going to call him bad, but it's different, you know? It's different. And I mean, it's dangerous, and I wonder how it's going to change. Like, how would Madoka... Well, Madoka would turn into a magical girl to save a friend. We saw it in the beginning. That's how she does it. Well, that's how she wants to do it in the dream. That's always how they're trying to push her, you know, to do this.
Yeah.
It's always to save someone. And now we know that there's a threat, something bad happening in 2 weeks. And Homura says she's going to leave after. So in my opinion, she just needs to get through this to avoid the worst.
Yeah.
But that could still be bad. Like, this means it's going to be huge. And this is the last chance we get of, you know, if Madoka is still not a magical girl, which I kind of... And the opening shows us that she turns into a magical girl. Maybe we save her, like, maybe that doesn't happen, but I don't think that's a thing. So, if we can save her, if we can manage to keep her out of harm's way, I think she will do the contract, but maybe there's still a way to avoid the huge future, the tragedy that Homura talked about. But that has to happen in the 2 weeks left, or during the event in 2 weeks.
We'll see.
And maybe, like, at least now they know about this. They're gonna be, like, even, I'll call her Sakura, that's not her first name, but Sakura, even she...
Was it Kyoko?
Kyoko?
Kyoko.
Yeah, I kind of forgot it, but Kyoko then.
Sakura Kyoko.
Yeah, Kyoko Sakura, actually.
Kyoko Sakura.
It's Japanese, it's...
Never mind. Okay, fine, go ahead.
So, Kyoko, yeah, even her, like, she was shocked at this discovery, so this perhaps is gonna change a lot, their perspective on the contract.
Well, I do hope the fact that with this new news, and the fact that Omura saves Sayaka, maybe they can be able to
be friends.
Be friends.
Or at least stop calling her a villain. I'm looking at you, Sayaka. Stop calling Homura a villain. But then I do understand where she comes from, because she doesn't know that Homura was tied up when Mami died. She doesn't, like, everything she's seen when it comes to Homura, because she didn't talk to her. Homura didn't, you know, pay attention to her much. So everything she has on Homura is what Mami guessed when it comes to her intentions. And her showing up to get the rewards, looks like. You know, her showing up in the end. So, and Homona's not helping her case. She's really cold. She doesn't talk to people. Like, she warns them, but it sounds standoffish. So I get what Sayaka says.
She does have a bad way to say what she needs to say.
Yeah, but that too is understandable if she comes from a broken future where she saw many people die.
Well,
But still, I understand why Sayaka, like, she doesn't like her, and with the death of her friend, she needs an output. Like, she has this hero complex where she's a person of action. You know, she'll go out and actively do something, whereas Madoka feels sad, but she wishes for everyone to be friends, and, you know, she lacks that drive, but she's pure-hearted for sure. I think she just lacks the self-confidence, which is kind of why she looks at her mom a lot, because she's a businesswoman, and you know, she kind of wants to be like that, but it's also intimidating to have such a strong presence in your house. Like, you kind of don't want to stand up to it, so perhaps that's why she doesn't do it much.
But at the same time, you want to feel the same shoes because that person is technically your role model, right?
Yeah, but I think that's, you know, I'm not saying her mom is the sole reason for Madoka being a good person and wanting to save people, like, but she has that dream, that aspiration, like, she drew the costume and she wants to be a magical girl like that. I think that comes from the want, the need to become someone like her mom, or someone like Sayaka now, or someone like Mami. Like, she looks up to those role models, but all consistently living with a strong figure that doesn't leave much room for you know, showing off yourself, maybe, that put Madoka back in a box that she has a problem coming out of. You know, she's not showing much confidence, and she's friends with Sayaka, who takes a lot of space. So both girls want to do the right thing. It's just Madoka doesn't have the drive to the confidence to go out and do it, whereas Sayaka wants to prove herself. You know, she wants to be valuable and do something about the problems. And when it comes to Homura, it's too late to do anything, basically. Like, Mami is dead, so she can't do anything, and she still has that grief, and she doesn't know how to work with it, so she puts the anger on Homura instead, and she acts out, and she fights Kyoko, and she wants to rid the world of people that are not Mami, basically, or not like Mami when it comes to magical girls. So yeah, both girls are very, very similar, yet very different at the same time. It's interesting because it makes it, you know, better for us watching this show. We get to see two sides of the same coin. Good. I mean, at the very least, that keeps Madoka out of the business for now, which is what we need.
For now is the big input words. Yeah, thank you.
But every episode is an opportunity for Kyubey to manipulate his way.
Did you see that every time that happened, things got worse and worse and worse? Like, I don't know, like the first time.
Well, I don't think we can do worse than Mami dying for now.
Yeah, true. But
at least we haven't done worse now.
Yeah, but I mean, at that time, not even Sayaka and Madoka were magical girl, but since Sayaka became one, she almost died twice.
Yeah, because of the same girl, though.
No, the second time Madoka had a head in it.
Yeah, but it was still the same situation where things were, you know, getting heated again, and Homura was about to do something to stop this. So I don't know if Homura could use her power to, you know, undo what's been done to Sayaka. I don't know if she can do that. If she comes from the future, her power is fucking strong. Maybe, but then what does that...
Maybe it doesn't work that way.
Yeah, and what does it take out of her?
She had to run against that car to take back that egg. But
I mean, she it's hard to, you know, she kind of ran, it's true, and manipulating time is a thing, but then that car keeps moving, so she had to try to jump forward. And maybe it works better if you've been there first. And now she was kind of jumping forward in time. Maybe that's not the same.
Maybe.
I don't know how her power works, but it's the strongest I've seen so far. I want to know what Kyubey meant when he said, you know, oh, maybe she is, like, could she be, like, I don't know who she is, but there's I think when we know, there's going to be a connection there, and I'm kind of excited to know. Anyway. Yeah, this show is really short. So
well, right now we're halfway through the show. So
already. So things have to move fast, but they're not moving fast enough. You know, like we.
Well, I mean, we lost someone in episode 3. We learned that Magica girl are zombies.
Yeah, I mean that's the show. It's a sign of a good show because they keep us on our toes and they want us. You know, they make us want to watch the next episode.
You don't expect it, so yeah.
Yeah. Anyway. So that's it for this episode. Thank you guys so much for watching this with us. If you want to know when the next episode comes out, check out the community. And I completely messed that outro. I will redo it. So that's it for this episode, you guys. Thank you for watching this with us. If you want to see the next episode right away, it is on Patreon already. You can check it out. The link is in the description below.
And if you don't want to, the next one will be out on YouTube next week. And if it's not, check our community to know when it's going to be out on YouTube.
Yeah, because we've been having some issues with this, with YouTube these days. So check it out.
So see you then, guys.
Bye.